a whisper in the silence. Rivermere was a town where stories lived in the air. The cobblestone streets carried whispers of history, the rivers sang of journeys untaken, and the people each held a tale within their hearts. Among them were two individuals as contrasting as the sun and the moon, Lily and Ethan. Lily was a whirlwind of energy. Her days were filled with conversations, laughter, and the kind of curiosity that drew people toward her like moths to a flame. She was the friend everyone went to for advice, the voice in the room that never dimmed. Yet, deep down, she carried a quiet fear. What if all her words were just noise to the world? Ethan, on the other hand, was the town's enigma. He was an artist who preferred the company of his sketchpad to that of people. He observed more than he spoke, his silence not a sign of disinterest but of a soul deeply attuned to the world around him. His friends were the rustling leaves, the whispering rivers, and the wind that danced through the trees. They first met on an unusually windy afternoon. Lily was telling a story to a group of children in the park. Her voice rose and fell with the drama of her tale, her hands weaving invisible shapes in the air. Just as she reached the climax of her story, her eyes landed on a figure sitting alone on a nearby bench. Ethan was sketching, seemingly unbothered by the commotion around him. Curiosity got the better of her. Leaving her audience, Lily walked over and peered at his notebook. "What are you drawing?" she asked, her voice breaking the bubble of his solitude. Ethan hesitated before turning the sketchpad toward her. It was a detailed depiction of the park, but not as most would see it. He had drawn the wind's invisible dance, trees bending gracefully, leaves caught mid-flight, and even the ripple of water in the fountain. "It's the wind?" Lily guessed, unsure. Ethan nodded. "The way it moves." Lily was intrigued. "That's beautiful. I talk so much, I probably wouldn't notice something like that." "You don't talk too much," Ethan replied quietly. "You see stories in things. I see movements. We notice different things." From that moment, their connection began. Lily's natural inclination was to fill silences with words, while Ethan let those silences stretch, creating space for reflection. At first, their conversations were one-sided, with Lily talking and Ethan listening. Yet, Ethan's attentive silence made Lily feel more heard than she ever had before. Learning the language of silence. Over time, their friendship deepened. Lily learned that Ethan's silences weren't empty. They were full of thought, of observation, and of unspoken truths. He had a way of answering her questions not with words, but with actions. When she told him about her stressful day, he didn't give advice. Instead, he sketched her, capturing her vibrant energy in a way that made her laugh. Ethan, too, found himself changing. Lily's endless stories drew him out of his shell. She'd coax him into talking about his art, asking questions about every detail. "Why do you always sketch the wind?" she asked one evening as they sat by the river. "Because it's constant," Ethan replied. "It's everywhere, but people rarely see it. It's misunderstood, I guess." Lily smiled. "You're a bit like the wind, then. Quiet, always moving, and misunderstood." Ethan chuckled softly, a sound Lily cherished because of its rarity. The dance of opposites. As seasons passed, their bond turned into something deeper. Rivermere's residents began noticing the pair. They'd see Lily animatedly telling a story, her hands flying in the air, while Ethan walked beside her, his gaze steady and serene. They balance each other, one old woman remarked. Like fire and water. Despite their differences, they complemented one another in unexpected ways. When Lily felt overwhelmed by her own thoughts, Ethan's calm presence grounded her. When Ethan withdrew too far into his world, Lily's energy brought him back. One day, as they sat in a meadow outside the town, Lily asked a question that had been on her mind. Do you think people like us, talkative girls and silent boys, make the best couples? Ethan looked at her, his eyes thoughtful. I don't think it's about talking or being silent. It's about balance. You make me see the world louder, brighter. And I make you pause to notice the quiet things. Together, we see the whole picture. Lily felt tears prick her eyes. You always know how to say the right thing, don't you? Ethan shrugged with a small smile. I've had a good teacher. A love that speaks without words. As years turned into decades, their love became a legend in Rivermere. Ethan's sketches, which had once been private, now adorned galleries and homes across the town. Each one told a story, Lily laughing under a canopy of trees, the two of them walking by the river, or a simple moment shared in silence. Lily, meanwhile, became a storyteller known far and wide. Her tales were filled with warmth and wisdom, inspired by the quiet observations she had learned from Ethan. She often ended her stories with the same line, and remember, the best connections aren't always the loudest, they're the ones that make you feel whole. Their love was not perfect, but it was real. It thrived not despite their differences, but because of them. Lily's words filled the spaces Ethan left, and Ethan's silence gave her words a place to rest. In the end, it was their shared understanding that mattered most, a connection that didn't need constant words or gestures to be felt. Even now, if you visit Rivermere, you'll find traces of their story. You might see an old sketch of the wind in a gallery or hear a storyteller at the park recounting tales of the couple who taught the town about balance, love, and the beauty of opposites. And if you sit by the river at dusk, you might just feel a whisper of their presence, a talkative girl and a silent boy, perfectly in sync. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others. Your support helps us keep creating valuable content. Thank you.